You're lying in bed, eyes closed, finally drifting off to sleep after a long, tiring day. And then, bam, your leg kicks, your whole body jolts. It feels like you just fell off a cliff, but you're still lying safe in your bed. Your heart is racing, you're wide awake again. And you're thinking, what just happened? Am I okay? Is something wrong with me? Don't worry, you're completely fine. What just happened to you has a cool scientific name. It's called a hypnic jerk. And here's the wild part, about 70% of all people experience this. That means 7 out of every 10 people you know have felt exactly the same thing. Even scientists who study the brain for a living aren't 100% sure why it happens. It's one of those weird mysteries that our own bodies are still hiding from us. Today, we're going to break it all down. Simple, clear, no confusing medical words. By the end, you'll actually understand what your brain is doing when you sleep, and you'll never look at bedtime the same way again. So what exactly is a hypnic jerk? Let's start with the basics. A hypnic jerk is a sudden, quick muscle twitch that happens right when you're falling asleep. Your whole body, or sometimes just your leg or arm, suddenly jerks or kicks for no reason. It lasts only a second, but it's strong enough to wake you right back up. This kind of sudden muscle movement belongs to a group called myoclonus. That's just a fancy word for any sudden, involuntary muscle twitch. You've actually seen myoclonus before without knowing it. When a dog's legs move while it's dreaming, that's myoclonus. When you hiccup, also myoclonus. Your body does these little glitches more than you think, but the hypnic jerk is special because of when it happens. It occurs during something called the hypnagogic state. Think of this as the in-between zone, the few minutes when you're not fully awake anymore, but not fully asleep either. It's like that fuzzy, dreamy feeling right before you knock out completely. During this in-between zone, your brain is doing something very important. It's switching your body from awake mode to sleep mode. And sometimes, that switch doesn't go smoothly. It glitches. And that glitch is your hypnic jerk. A simple way to picture it, imagine your body is like a computer shutting down for the night. Usually, it closes all the programs one by one, nice and smooth. But sometimes, right before it powers off, it freezes for a second. That little freeze, that's your body jerking awake. Why does it actually happen? The two big theories. Scientists have been studying this for years, and they've come up with two main explanations. Both are honestly pretty fascinating. Theory 1, your brain thinks you're falling. Here's a fun fact, the human brain is really old. Deep inside your brain, there's a part that hasn't changed since the time of cavemen and early humans. This ancient part of your brain doesn't understand modern life. It doesn't know about beds, blankets, or bedrooms. Millions of years ago, our early ancestors slept in trees. Yes, literally up in trees, to stay safe from predators on the ground. So every single night, they had to sleep while holding onto a branch. If they relaxed their muscles too much, they'd fall. And falling from a tree in the middle of nowhere, that could mean death. So here's what scientists think is happening. When your muscles relax quickly as you fall asleep, that ancient part of your brain panics. It thinks, we're falling, we're about to hit the ground. And so it sends a massive electrical signal to all your muscles, basically yelling, grab something, catch yourself. That signal causes the big jerk you feel. Your body is literally trying to save you from falling off a tree branch that doesn't even exist anymore. Your brain is running on million-year-old software, and it hasn't received the update that says, relax. We sleep in beds now. Pretty wild, right? Theory 2, your brain is having an internal fight. Your brain isn't just one simple thing. It's made up of many different systems that all have different jobs, and sometimes those systems argue with each other. When you're awake, a system called the reticular activating system, let's just call it the stay awake system, is running the show. It keeps you alert, focused, and aware of everything around you. When it's time to sleep, another system called the VLPO, we can call it the go-to-sleep system, tries to take over. It wants to slow everything down, your breathing, your heart rate, your muscle activity. So what happens when you're falling asleep? These two systems are literally fighting for control of your body. Most of the time, the sleep system wins smoothly, and you drift off peacefully. But sometimes, the stay-awake system refuses to give up without a fight. It fires off one last burst of energy, like a light switch sparking before it finally turns off. That sudden burst of energy travels through your nerves and, jerk, your body lurches awake. It's basically your own brain fighting itself, and your arms and legs get caught in the crossfire. Wait, did you also see something? Here's where it gets even more interesting.
Have you noticed that right when you jerk, sometimes you also see something in your mind for a split second? Maybe you're walking and suddenly trip. Maybe you're standing somewhere high and lose your balance. Maybe you just fall into darkness. These little flashes are called hypnagogic hallucinations, and they're completely normal. Here's how they work. Your brain is an incredible storyteller. It hates things that don't make sense. So when your body suddenly jerks for no obvious reason, your brain immediately asks itself, why did we just move? What happened? And because it can't find a real answer, it just makes one up. In a fraction of a second, your brain creates a tiny mini dream to explain the jerk. It's like your brain saying, oh, we must have tripped on something. That's why we jumped. Body jerks first. Brain invents a story afterward. This happens so fast that it feels like the falling caused the jerk. But actually, it's the other way around. The jerk came first, and the falling image was just your brain making up an excuse. This tells us something amazing about how fast our brain works. It can create an entire scene, a complete little story, faster than the blink of an eye, all just to make sense of one random muscle twitch. Why does it happen more on some nights? You might have noticed that you don't experience this every single night. Some nights you sleep perfectly fine. Other nights, jerk after jerk. So what's the difference? Certain things make hypnic jerks way more likely to happen. Too much caffeine. If you drink coffee, energy drinks, or even too much tea in the afternoon or evening, your stay-awake system is already on high alert. So when your sleep system tries to take over, the fight between the two is much bigger and more intense, and the jerk is stronger. Stress and anxiety. When you're stressed, maybe about an exam, a fight with a friend, or something big happening tomorrow, your brain stays in danger mode even when you're trying to sleep. A brain that's on high alert is a brain that twitches easily. Not enough sleep. This one is ironic. The more tired you are, the more likely you are to get a hypnic jerk. When you're exhausted, your brain tries to rush into sleep too fast. It skips the slow, careful wind-down process and tries to dive straight into deep sleep, which causes the glitch. Exercising right before bed. Working out pumps your body full of energy. Your temperature is up, your muscles are active, your heart is still going. It's really hard for your body to suddenly shift into calm down and sleep mode after that. The simple fix? Give yourself time to wind down before bed. Avoid caffeine late in the day. Do something relaxing in the hour before you sleep. Your brain needs a gradual transition, not a sudden switch. Should you be worried? For almost everyone reading this, no. Hypnic jerks are 100% normal and completely harmless. They're just a funny quirk of being human. However, if you're jerking so much that you genuinely cannot fall asleep at all, or if you're having these sudden muscle jolts while you're fully awake and going about your day, that might be worth mentioning to a doctor. There are some conditions, like restless leg syndrome or sleep apnea, that can sometimes look similar. But for the vast majority of us, it's just your ancient brain being a little overprotective. It's scanning for danger, even when you're perfectly safe in your room. Honestly, think about it this way. Even when your brain is supposed to be resting, it's still watching over you, still checking that you're okay, still ready to wake you up if something goes wrong. That's not a flaw, that's actually kind of amazing. The bottom line. So, the next time you're about to fall asleep and your leg suddenly kicks out of nowhere, don't panic. Just smile and think, oh, my brain is just checking if the tree branch is still there. Sleep is one of the most mysterious things we do. We spend about 1/3 of our entire lives asleep, and scientists are still figuring out all the things happening inside our brain during those hours. Hypnic jerks are just one small, strange, fascinating piece of that puzzle. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever had one of those weird falling dreams right before a jerk woke you up? What did you see? Drop it in the comments. I promise the answers are always wild. Stay curious. I'll see you in the next one.